What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers are in a very kind of rocking a hard place, right, with Jared Vanderbilt. Because he is such a talented player. He could impact this team so heavily. He is such a big need, from athleticism to rebounding to just the defense out on the perimeter, right? There's just a lot of things that Jared Vanderbilt can help with. But he had yet another setback. And the crazy thing is, the setback has nothing to do with what the injury was. So he had a surgery on both of his feet. And the setback is he was experiencing fluid in his left knee during the rehab process. Now, he's doing stuff, he's working his way up, but again, that's not like, it's not, if there was a setback due to the feet, it's like, oh, okay, like he needs to stay off of it a little longer. But no, it's something completely different, right? And he's had knee problems in the past, particularly that left knee, which is where the swelling or the fluid came from. And this is a far cry because we literally, like 2 weeks ago, got a report that Jared Vanderbilt was good, right? From Mike Trudell, said Jared Vanderbilt's rehabilitation will continue for the next couple of weeks before the next update. He's been ramping up activity, but the progression has been more gradual than the team anticipated. They'll be patient as his body builds up. There have been no setbacks, but initial expectations have been adjusted, and they want to keep a long term in mind. And this was on November 20th. We got the recent news on December 3rd, right? Literally, this was like 2 weeks ago. Everything was fine. Now it looks like Jared Vanderbilt won't be back till early January is when they're targeting his return. It's probably not going to be till mid or late January. This is a guy that was supposed to potentially be ready to go to start the season. And now we went from like, oh, he may start the season to like, oh, he's going to miss half the season. By the time he comes back, if he comes back, it'll be like a year and a half that he's been out. Right? Like, that's crazy. That's wild. And look, again, I love Jared Vanderbilt. The impact that he has on this team. So many people like to poke fun of us Laker fans. Oh, he's your savior. He's not the savior. Like, he's not, him by himself doesn't make the Lakers the best team in the NBA. But he's definitely a guy that's up there. He may be a savior, but not the savior, right? Like, he's not the guy that's changing single-handedly the tides. But he has an incredible impact on this roster. We have seen him plus Anthony Davis equals the one of the best defenses in the league. They actually were number one during that stretch, right? But one of the best defenses in the league. Why? Because Jared Vanderbilt just covers so much ground. And then also people talk about, the offensive issues. Well, JJ Redick has said that he's very confident he can turn him into a serviceable offense player, that he already has ideas and kind of thoughts on how he wants to approach this. But even Darvin Ham was able to figure out how to get him to double digits, 10 to 12 points per game. But it's more than that, right? Obviously, it doesn't impact it in like the traditional sense. He's not this great shooter or anything, but he is a guy that keeps balls alive, gets second chance points, right? Creates turnovers, live ball turnovers, helps him get out in transition, right? Like, he's impacting the game in a multitude of ways. He's creating more offensive opportunities for the Lakers, which in return help generate offense. Again, it's not in the traditional sense where he's out there cooking, right? A lot of the points that he ends up generating aren't going to show up in the box score for him, but still, he's having that level of impact. Problem is that at the end of the day, the best ability is availability. And the Lakers aren't really in this position to, wait it out for Vando. Right? The Lakers aren't really in this position to take the gamble on Jared Vanderbilt. I like Jared Vanderbilt a lot. Again, I think he has the chance and opportunity to fix a lot of the Lakers' problems. But how long until he actually comes back? The post keeps getting pushed further and further back. And then, on top of that, once he gets back, how long until he actually starts to look like Jared Vanderbilt, right? I mean, it took him like 10 games just to start looking like Jared. He wasn't fully there. He was starting to look like it. So talking about, like, let's say it takes 10, 20 games for him to get there. Sure, if he's ready to go and healthy and ready to be, prime Jared Vanderbilt, during the playoffs, that could be huge. But who's to say he also holds up that long, right? Again, it's a gamble. It's a risk. And I just don't know if the Lakers are in the position to do so, not if they really want to win a championship, right? Now, if you get the right moves and the right pieces, and it's like, and you don't have to trade Jared Vanderbilt, then fine, right? Like, I'm not opposed to keeping him. And you know, like if you can get a Dorian Finney-Smith with, Jonas Valanciunas and then Zach LaVine or something, right? It's like, okay, at that point, you might as well just keep Jared Vanderbilt, right? He could be very helpful, impactful in a long way. But if you can turn Jared Vanderbilt into a position of need, right? Like whether it's a center or it's a 3-and-D wing. Like if you could take Jared Vanderbilt and whatever, Jalen Hood-Schifino and turn him into Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith isn't as good defensively as Jared Vanderbilt, but he is a very good defender, and he also gives you something on the offensive side in the traditional sense, right? So you get better two-way production. And you don't have to worry about the gamble of like, oh, is Jared Vanderbilt going to hold up or not? Right? Like, I just think if you're the Lakers, you should look, at least field, potential trade offers for Jared Vanderbilt. Now, the thing is that he's not going to have the value that he would have unless he plays. The problem is like he might not have enough time to play to really raise his value, right? You may end up being stuck with him at least this season. But I do think that there is potentially a team out there, more likely one of these like bad teams, because Jared Vanderbilt is still young. I could see one of these teams going, you know what? Like, we're not trying to win anything. Like a team like Chicago, let's say, right? It's like, hey, we have a bunch of guards. If we can unload some of these guards, get a guy into Jared Vanderbilt, right? We're not trying to win a championship. We're not trying to do anything this season crazy, right? We just, hey, Vando, tell you what, take the year off, right? Don't worry about rushing back. Don't worry about coming back, right? Vando's 25. He'll be 26 next year, or he'll be 26 in April, right? So he's still young, right? So, like, if you're a team like Chicago, example, just like I said, just using Chicago's example, it's like, all right, hey, just don't come back, right? Take the season to rehab, take your time, right? You need to find a team that is willing to kind of take the risk on Vando and be in a position to kind of let him take the year off, right? Take the year to just kind of get your body right, get your knees, get your feet right, everything like that, instead of like a team like the Lakers where he's trying to hurry it up, he's trying to get into a flow so he can get back on the basketball court. But if you find a team like, again, the Nets or the Bulls or the Jazz, or I don't know if Utah would want him back, but you get my point, right? These bad teams that aren't trying to compete, aren't trying to win, aren't looking for Jared Vanderbilt to come back and be 100%. That probably it's in their best interest to not have him do that, because he could translate and maybe impact in some form of winning, to where it's like, okay, a team like Chicago, it's like, okay, well, now we got, a legit wing that can defend, and one of the best defenders in the league. He's on a cheap contract at $10 million a year, so he's not like on some crazy salary. Like, maybe you can find that team that would be interested in that is willing to take the gamble on Jared Vanderbilt. Problem is like, again, like, you're probably not going to get much value for that. However, again, you find a team that wants to get off salary. A team that's like, like, again, sticking with Chicago. They're like, hey, we want to get off of Zach LaVine, right? And it's like, hey, we'd rather have Vando for $10 million a year than Zach LaVine for $45 million a year on average, right? Like, those are the things that could have the impact. Those are the things that could have the change. Because I just think at this point, you got to, again, you don't have to trade him if a deal isn't there, right? If you can't find something that makes sense, then fine, don't force the issue. But I do think you have to at least field offers. I think you have to at least listen. Now, what's the worst thing that happens? People go, no, we're not giving you anything for Vando. Okay, you're not getting anything right now anyway. Right? You're in the same boat you're in right now. Best case scenario, maybe a team is like, you know what, hey, like, we can get Vando back, and also if he kind of gets back next season to the guy that he has shown to be, right, he may end up now being a valuable trade chip. Maybe we could get, a couple seconds for him, or, a protected first or something, right? Like, you never know, like, what another team is looking at him as, or thinking. Right? And then there's also the fact that there's just some bad organizations that just make bad decisions, right? Like, there's a sucker born every day, right? Like, you see it all the time. So, I think if you're the Lakers, you got to at least explore. I think you at least need to have the conversations, at least kind of dig into it a little bit and see if maybe something can be created, something can be kind of worked out to where, okay, we ended up, whatever. We ended up trading Vando for, like I said, a Dorian Finney-Smith, right? You have to add some other pieces, but you get my point, right? Or, he's added into a greater package. And it's like, as long as you're getting like a legit 3-and-D wing in the deal, I think you're fine, right? As long as you're getting somebody that, fills that need and fills that hole that you're looking for Jared Vanderbilt to provide, has got some athleticism, can play the three, right? You're fine. Right? I think you'll be okay losing Jared Vanderbilt. Again, I don't want to lose him. I love what Jared Vanderbilt does. I love the impact this team. When he's healthy and he's on, the dude's special. I mean, the guy just, again, covers so much ground. It's like he teleports at times. Like, the guy's just everywhere. The guy's an absolute menace. He is the best perimeter defender in the league when he's healthy. Right? Like, it's just, but again, when he's healthy. And it's like, how long can the Lakers kind of draw this out with him before it's just like, all right, we need, right? If we were a young team that it's like, hey, we're in the thick of it, right? Like, we're not, we're probably not winning a championship or anything, then fine, keep him. But we're not. You only got so many more years of LeBron. So it's kind of my thoughts. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, like, yes, time to trade Jared Vanderbilt? Do you think, like, yeah, find that team that is willing to give you something, some value of it? Do you think, like, no, like, you can't trade Jared Vanderbilt, you have to keep him? Again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know either way down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.